was quiet 3 seconds ago. But as soon as I sat down, my neighbor's smoke alarm went off. I don't know if you can hear it, but probably. Added problem here is that when her smoke alarm goes off, she starts screaming. I think she's new to the city, and I don't see her lasting very long. She sets it off all the time. Not all the time. I mean, last 2 weeks, 1 or 2 other times. Also with the screaming, which might help her, although I don't know how, but it's certainly not helping anyone else in the building. I was going to do some eyes and lips and talk about something I've thought many times but wanted to talk about today, about honesty and how just certain things, but maybe I'll wait now. Now she's screaming. I don't know if you can hear her. I hope not. It's not as loud as the alarm, but where was I? Oh, yeah. So I was thinking about, I don't know exactly what brought this to mind, but it was just something I thought might be interesting for us to talk about. Meaning I talk about it and then you let me have it in the comments. And what it was is something I was watching, had someone, probably a criminal, talking about how they hate dishonesty. You know, they cannot deal with being lied to. It's very common for people who lie a lot to say that too. I mean, anyone with half a brain knows that they don't have to say that out loud because nobody likes being lied to. Oh, she's screaming now. Okay, a change of plans. So my neighbor, who I was just telling you about, who started screaming and crying, was screaming and crying, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, and that might be fine for some people, but not on my watch. No, no. So I may or may not have recorded her. I have a way of doing it. I mean, the way is I take my phone, put it under my door, and I press record. And I mean, I don't do this all the time, but maybe every once in a while, you know, when something interesting is happening. Anyway, that's not the point. This isn't about me. This is about my neighbor, who I want to tell you before we listen to her, because we're going to. She's a grown-ass woman. She may not sound like one, but she is. And she obviously got on the horn with, I think, her father after the smoke alarm went off. She was on the phone when it was on, too. I don't know with whom, because I didn't spring into action in time. And also the alarm was on, so it was very unpleasant. Anyway, we're now going to listen to her complaining. Well, we're not going to listen to her on the phone with who I think is her father while I start my eyeliner. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to do an eyeliner, a liquid eyeliner with maybe a little bit of powder just to buff it out, and a really kind of dramatic lip. And these are 2 things that I always want to do, but sometimes when I do them, I'm like, Red lip, I love, but rarely do I think it looks better than a pale, like a more natural lip. It really depends. But I thought, what the heck? I was in the mood to try these 2 things. I mean, I've tried them before, but the eyes in particular, the liquid liner in this particular way, I don't do often. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to start with that while we listen to my neighbor lose your damn mind. Here's another reason I know she's not a New Yorker. Not to be a jaded New Yorker, but you know, wherever you live, just imagine that a bunch of people came to live right in your neighborhood all the time, ruined everything, and then left because they couldn't handle it. I mean, they don't ruin everything, but you know, things like this wouldn't happen if this were a New Yorker, because a New Yorker knows that, I mean, there is a law. You need to have a certain amount of smoke alarms. It's more than anyone would ever need in one small apartment, in all the wrong places. You know, it'll be right over your oven or stove top. Usually not exactly, and I'm sure not in this case, but the first thing you do when you move in, if you're going to cook or smoke or do anything, is disable it. You're not supposed to, but you have to do something. You have to either disable it or learn how to turn it off, which every one of them has a switch somewhere. So there's that. Carrying on.
I know, but I have to push. I can't do it. Yeah, this part. No, I can't. Yeah, it's not beeping. Yeah. I had it on this ladder pointed at the thing.
So what? Mm.
Yes, stop eating. Yes. I had it on this ladder pointed at the thing. I don't even care anymore. No, I'm not done thinking. And I need to shower and get ready for work tomorrow. I was supposed to do all that when I finished cooking, but this has been such an ordeal. I was supposed to be done by now, and I don't know what to do. I can't get it down. And even if I get this one down, I have to get the other two down also. I'm sure. I'm positive. I have to take them all out if I'm making one. No, I feel like that would make it worse.
We may have listened to that twice. I'm not sure, but if anything, it was better. This even better the second time around, in my opinion. So, a couple of things. First of all, I can only assume that she has never had a problem. That's the only thing I can come up with here. I also don't understand how she even makes it to work if this sets off this kind of chain reaction. I mean, do you know what's going on out in the streets? Her alarm is going off for maybe, let's say, 5 full seconds, giving her maybe let's say maybe it was a lot longer than that. I don't know. Let's say it was a minute. Yeah, a minute can be a long time when there's an unpleasant sound going on. Especially when you're self-conscious because it's your alarm and you're thinking, oh, the other neighbors are. But I doubt that's the case because of all the screaming and crying, which we can also hear, although maybe she doesn't understand that. I would never call my father crying like that about anything because I wouldn't, because he would get very worried and I wouldn't want to worry him. Uh, I cannot imagine a world in which I'm calling him because my smoke alarm went off and is now stopped. On top of that, crying like that. She's saying that she used to really enjoy cooking, but she dreads it now because of the breaker that he put in, is what I'm hearing there. First of all, I don't know what these people from wherever the hell they are doing coming here and putting breakers in to a New York City apartment. You're not supposed to do that. And nice of her to blame him for this. My guess is the breaker was something he was doing because he got another call like this about who knows what. I mean, even he was sick of her at the end of that call. He was like, he said to her, well, maybe you should put a plastic bag over it so that, the smoke won't reach it. No, that's not going to work. And I'm not going to try things just to try them. So, I mean, she said she was pressing whatever she was supposed to press. She couldn't do it. So then what's the point of all this? Like, what a spoiled, horrible brat. And as I said, she is a grown ass woman. Okay? She might not sound like one, but she is. My God. I can't even. It's interesting because when you're used to living in apartments, I mean, yeah, some neighbors can be horrible, but it's really not that often. I've had like maybe two neighbors in my life who really drove me crazy. One was someone who sang opera but wasn't an opera singer nonstop, like a nervous tick. That was not good. I had to get very creative to make that person move out of the building. And what was the other one? Oh, yeah. Well, this kind of crazy lady who had a lot of kids next door to me in a different building. And she was a nice person, so it was irritating, but it wasn't that terrible. I felt sorry for her. Anyway, what's interesting is that when you're used to living in an apartment building, I would imagine that that sounds kind of impossible, like really unpleasant to people who have a private home and it's quiet and you have all your own stuff and you have lots of space. And I, of course, get the appeal to that. But when I'm in a house, I feel I'm so scared because in an apartment building, you're surrounded by other people, and if something happens, if someone comes to my window or something and I start screaming, people will hear me. Which brings me to my next point. People will hear me. And everyone who lives in an apartment is or should be aware of that. But some people don't understand that, especially when they just got here. And I'm sorry, but come on. I mean, this is not somebody who should be living in an apartment building. And like I said, I don't know how she makes it to work every day if that's what happens when her smoke alarm goes off for half a minute. Anyway, this is the eyeliner. I guess you saw me do it when we were listening to my neighbor, my across the hall neighbor. I wonder if when I played that, she was like, "Oh my God, who's that woman screaming? How rude." And now we're going to do the lips. And what I'm going to do for the lips is like a pretty dark neutral liner with this. And I've never used this with a liner before. It's a matte liquid lipstick, which I'm not really crazy about, but the color is right. What I was going to talk about honesty is that how these people who always want, well, first of all, they always say that they just never lie to me. That's the worst thing. People who are always saying that the worst thing you can do is lie to me are also people who, if you tell them anything they don't like, they lose their damn minds. And what I realized a long time ago is that truth is not, you cannot be honest in a vacuum. If you want somebody or people in general to be honest with you, you have to accept honesty. The only thing that people really lie about, generally speaking, unless they're psychopaths or sociopaths, is things that they don't want to tell you for reasons. If you don't accept the truth, whether or not you like it, you have to decide, do you want people to be honest with you or not? If you do, you have to accept all truths. If they're truths you can't live with, then you have to do what you got to do. But to just expect somebody to be honest and then blame them when they're not, and those people often say things like, I've been lied to so many times. I wonder why. Just amazing. I don't think it's fair to put the onus on one person in a relationship. I think both people are responsible for not only being honest, but equally accepting the truth, because otherwise it just doesn't work. I think there are a lot of people who would prefer to be honest, but they feel they can't because of the blow up that happens. So I don't know. I usually leave the Cupid's bow out of the lining because I just think it looks a little bit better when it's more diffused with the lipstick, and otherwise it's a little too severe, she says, with dark brown lip liner on her lips, ready to put on a neon red. I don't know how this is going to go, but well, we'll see. Let's just find out. I was going to maybe try to. Another thing about liquid lipstick is they're great liners. You really don't need a liner with them if you do what I'm doing, but without the liner, because they dry and they stay and they match the lipstick, obviously. She had to take a shower. Okay, at 8 o'clock at night, this was, or a little earlier. Had to go to work the next day. Like, big whoop. Who doesn't? Take a shower, and she thought this would be done already. She thought all the cooking that she loves to do so much would be done already. I mean, obviously it wasn't going to take her long because this entire thing took maybe 8 minutes. That behavior is, I mean, shocking to me. Not that I haven't seen it before, but usually when I see it, it's in an interrogation setting. Suppose I've known people like that, but I'm not close to anyone who behaves that way. And I mean, if it's family, that's one thing, but if there's a choice involved, forget it. I mean, obviously, I keep checking my mic because everything is going wrong today and yesterday. Just one of those struggle bus kind of situations, you know? And now Dolly Parton. Which is, of course, worse than my mic muting itself, but it's just been one thing after the other lately. Stupid little annoyances, you know? Maybe that's how my neighbor feels. Maybe this was the last straw for her, but I doubt it somehow. And also, still, had to take a shower and go to work the next day, and now this. I mean, I just, the whole thing, the crying and the carrying on and behaving like a child, I just can't believe that people are acting this way. When I can hear them too. Like, what? Oh, the liner doesn't really even show. Hmm. I don't know. I think without the liner is better. Maybe it's the choice of lipstick, especially with this. That's it. I'll list what the products are. Liquid liner and the lipstick and the lip liner, I guess, that I used in the description. And thank you for hanging out with me and listening to my random thoughts. I had planned this in such a way that it was more of a No, it's pretty much what it was, except for without my neighbor freaking out, which was actually pretty fun. I'll see you soon.